Okay, guys, as people are rolling in, I'm gonna share some things in the chat box that we have going on here at KCAC. First one here is our call for exhibitions, which is up right now. It closes on December 1st, so please get those submissions in. Also, we have some big news that we are opening more studio spaces at 30th and Troost in the Wonderlofts building. In the basement there, we're taking over the basement. There'll be 10 new spaces there. Touring them today for the first time for the public and then over the next 2 weeks. So if you're looking for studio space, these will range from about like 120 square feet to about 350 square feet. A little bit bigger spaces than what we have here on site. They're all still kind of communal in a sense where they're not closed door private spaces. So that's exciting. The link is there. We just had our opening last night of our annual KCAC Artist Member Show, Art for All. There's like 90 works of art. A bunch of stuff is selling. It's cool because artists can replace works and sell more, but you should definitely stop in and see that if you guys can.
Always a new show.
Always a new show. There's always new work. Yay. And I'm gonna kind of start to get rolling here. Oh, that's already in there. Oh, thank you. Here we go. Oh, you guys, there's a big open studios today at Wholesome Studios, which is down in the West Bottoms. This is Laura Nugent and Mark Hennick's card for it. It's 1200 West 12th Street in the West Bottoms. A whole building of artists. I think they have 4 of the floors open now with studios in them. So if you're looking for something to do today, it's 10 to 5, 1200 West 12th Street. Thank you, Ione. We have Ione in the gallery with us today. Mostly everyone is joining virtually, but we're so excited to have the folks, Brandon and Teresa here from Englewood Arts. I feel like they're doing really important work that a lot of people in the urban core aren't really aware of yet, and we need to bridge that gap and see what's going on and start collaborating and working together. Just a little background info. Englewood Arts is a new and innovative organization focused on creating diverse and sustainable community in harmony with the arts. Community is essential to the residents of Inglewood, and they have been working hard through grassroots efforts to bring back that area. These efforts have effectively zoned the East Winter Road as an arts district, established a year-round Third Friday Arts Walk, and hosted several outdoor music and cultural festivals. The community has worked hard and spoken up for what they want more of, and in response to this, Englewood Arts has formed a 2-prong organization. The first phase of the project is to renovate a recently purchased 3-story former medical building into a community-based arts center. And the second phase will address affordable housing that will complement and play a part in supporting the arts and sustainability in that community. So we want to welcome Englewood Arts here to talk about all the amazing work that they're doing and share with us. You guys can put questions in the chat box or just unmute yourself and gently introduce yourself and ask questions, or else I can mediate that while they're speaking. So welcome, you guys. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Definitely.
We're happy to be here.
Yeah. I will pull up. We have a slide presentation and let me see, I need to figure out how to share everything. And feel free to ask questions. There's pretty good natural pause points.
Absolutely.
Oops. Right. So hello, everyone. My name is Brandon Schnur. I'm Arts and Programming Manager for Englewood Arts.
And hi, I'm Teresa Cosgrove. I am the operations manager at Inglewood.
Yeah, we already talked. The intro had a little bit about kind of the grassroots effort, and I think Teresa, if you want to start with that,
Sure thing.
Everything kind of got started. That would be a great way to start.
It's a very lovely area in Inglewood, and please come visit. There's a lot of history there. there's been a movement from the community about the community to bring love and people back into the area. So as you had mentioned, Jessica, we are zoned as an art district, and we wanted to continue to build upon that. And we as artists know that artists bring a specialness to an area, bring an energy to it. But we wanted to be cognizant as we brought artists and art into the area that we were aware of housing. So we, as you mentioned, are a two-pronged organization where we're also focused on providing affordable housing for artists and housing opportunities for artists to come and actually move into the area, own a place or rent a place if that's what they prefer, and stay here. That way, as things continue to grow, they can participate in that growth, but not feel the push to unfortunately be pushed out because of raising prices for things like that. So that's kind of the overall gist of what I was saying. Sorry, I was cutting out so bad there. With the two-pronged organization, Englewood Arts, as you had mentioned, we are currently focused on opening about a 30,000 square foot art center here in Inglewood. It was the most dilapidated building probably in Inglewood and the largest. And the city actually sold it to us, so we own it. And we are currently renovating it into a community arts center. So Brandon, since you're the arts and programming manager, I'll let you kind of take over and talk about the arts center.
Yeah, for sure. Let me see how I change this screen. Yeah, like Teresa mentioned, I think one of the other major points that Teresa was trying to say when she was breaking up a little bit is this used to be a very bustling area. The trolley line ran through here decades ago. And one of the things that we've noticed in the area is that there has been over 200 homes taken down and infilled lots, and only one new build has happened in the last few decades. And so the housing prong also wants to focus on small homes and the ability to keep housing affordable while also re-densifying the area with people. And so with that said, we did take the most blighted building in the area. The city sold it to us specifically for the art center. And we talked to the people of the community and asked them what they wanted out of an art center. A lot of the grassroots organization that Teresa was a part of to originally get the building is a group of artists or people that are really in tune with the art and want to see art as part of the main focus of bringing vitalization back to this area. So we asked them the kind of things that they want to see, and obviously visual arts, but performing arts and culinary arts was really, really high on the list. So on the top right is what our building currently looks like. Actually, no, that's a few months ago before we had our windows put in, actually. The bottom left is a rendering that Teresa actually painted. It's watercolor. That will be kind of the final look of the building. Let's see. Sorry. Yeah, so in talking about like specific programming that we'll have, our first floor is dedicated to kind of each one of our prongs. It'll have culinary, performing, and visual arts. And the major focus for visual arts on the first floor is a glassblowing studio. There's only a few glassblowing studios in the region, and they're all private. And we really, one of the big pushes that we heard from people was they wanted communal glassblowing studios. People wanted to experience that. It's the kind of thing that I think really excites people. It's such a new and kind of different thing as far as visual arts go. And we're partnering with the Innovation Center here in Inglewood, or in Independence. and they are helping us open up the Innovation Cafe, which will be a culinary residency program, kind of a pop-up kitchen for art, culinary artisan food. And we will allow people that really want to bring in kind of new and fresh ideas into the culinary arts and give them a space to run a business without the pressure of having to own and operate an entire business on their own. That was also a really big push. We really want people to be able to experiment in food in the same way people can experiment in any other artistic medium. And the Innovation Cafe will give them that opportunity without the kind of same pressure of owning a restaurant. And outside of that, we have a lot of people that are very interested in performing arts. And we have had a push for making a space for performing arts that could be small enough to fill, but not so large that you just have 100 empty seats. And so we're looking for a place kind of in between the coffee shops where you can go and you have an amp and a mic, or the Sprint Center or something where they have everything you could ever want, but the possibility to fill that space is very low. And so we want to have a state-of-the-art performing space with adaptable stages so we can move stuff around as we need, while still having really high-end lighting and sound equipment. And so that's all on the first floor. We kind of wanted all of our programming ideologies to be visible all from the second you walk in the door, to really keep people excited about what we're doing. Do you want to talk more about the community coming together, Teresa, kind of helping building?
Sure. And then did you want to cover the other floors, or?
I thought we could kind of go back through. There's more stuff about the rest of them.
Okay, cool. So as Brandon, you kind of cut out. What did you say to me? Sorry.
Oh, yeah. I said we can go back over the rest of the floors too. There's more slides.
Okay. Perfect. So I'm just going to hop in and continue with the programming a little bit, and then we'll hop into the housing. So we'll move from like one prong to the other. So as he mentioned, so people call it a 3-story building, but there are actually 4 levels to it. A lot of people don't know there is a full basement, and the footprint of each level is the same. And we worked really hard at, it used to be an old medical building, so there were about 40 rooms per floor, and some of those were partially still left. So Brandon, among other staff, worked very hard at removing all that rubble out of the building. So it was 150 tons, if you can imagine, of rubble that was just removed in the last year and a half, about year. So that was a big process, was to even get it to the place it is right now, which is a wonderful open space on each floor. And we're wanting to kind of keep that open concept as much as possible to create adaptability for the future, continue to keep our thumb on the pulse of the community and see, if we need to adjust programming or add something else to it as we truck along through the years. So we're trying to be pretty cognizant about how are we going to utilize this now, but how are we going to utilize it in 10 years. So as you mentioned, the first floor, we've got the 3 focuses on there. The second floor is going to be kids and adult programming. So I find that's a very exciting floor for me. My background's in art education, and we are very focused on, again, bringing the community in. So as we talk about each area, it's very much a holistic approach in the fact that we want artists at different levels in their career involved, along with community and public and visitors. So, and all those of all ages. We're also focused on being accessible. So accessibility is very important for us. So we plan to have a pretty large summer arts program and then after school programming, along with classes and workshops and things like that for adults on that second floor. And we're also working very hard to, as we offer those programs, have scholarships and funding ingrained. So people that may not normally be able to participate can apply to still participate. The third floor will be more of an open space. So again, it's going to be an open maker space. This is where a lot of the visual arts will come in. So fiber, photography, painting. There is a modular mural program we're working on. We find that there's a new trend as far as murals go, where muralists like to paint on very large canvases and then hang those, and then it gives them the opportunity to actually have like a rotating exhibition on the outside of a building, or utilize a few buildings in one area for a larger exhibition. It also gives the opportunity for them to not freeze their butts off in the winter, and it opens up a little bit more of mural work year round in an area like we're in, as far as the region goes. And then Brandon, do you want to talk about the lower level real quick? And then we can hop through.
Yeah. So the lower level, we have a neon shop that will be an extension of our Glassblowing Studio. Neon sign making is kind of coming back into fashion a little bit. We are actually one of the few areas that I know of in the region that is zoned to display exterior neon, new neon that can go on buildings. Anything in downtown Kansas City that is neon on the exterior of buildings is only grandfathered in, and if it ever needs to come down to be repaired, it cannot go back up. So we really want to be able to kind of exploit that ability and show neon throughout our little city.
Is your giant Englewood sign going to be neon?
Yes. Yeah. So
Awesome.
there's a picture of it towards the end of the slide too. And that's a really good story about how community has kind of come together to help this project even.
I love that. We have another question real quick here. Greg was wondering, do you guys know if that was the mental health center?
It was comprehensive mental health building.
Yeah, he worked there 1993 to 95.
Oh, wow. Nice. Yeah. That's awesome.
Oh.
Very cool.
Yeah, you know, the thing is, every time we bring groups of people into the building, somebody has some kind of story about how their doctor's office was there, or this is where they picked up their prescriptions, or something like that. Like almost everyone has some kind of tie to this building, and it's kind of—
That's so cool. Now it'll be healing arts in a whole different way.
Exactly. Yeah. And so again, continuing with the lower level, the Neon Studio will also have a metal fabrication space, because you need to be able to house the neon and the breakers and everything that go with it. This one, actually, this slide is incorrect. The ceramic studio will be up on the second floor among the classrooms, but we will have a wood shop. Yeah, we just need to have like large fabrication space for all of that stuff. Yeah, you can see in these slides kind of process in which we've built up this space. It was in very, very bad shape when we got it. I think by the time we took control of the building, it had been sitting vacant for 7 years. There was a 10-foot by 12-foot hole in the roof where people came into the building and cut the roof open to drop the air conditioning unit into the building so they could scrap it. And so the elements for 7 years were coming into this building continuously. So we had a very nice gentleman sandblast the exterior limestone. So you can see the difference between how gross it was and how nice it is now. He also came into the building and on every floor sandblasted our beams and our trusses in the ceiling. And so he spent hours and hours and hundreds of pounds of sandblasting medium to get our building in really good shape. Yeah, some of the programming, I mean, this is kind of one of the first programming opportunities we had. One of our partners is MCC, and they have a career trade program that brings high school students into a college setting and allows them to get certified. And also, if they choose to, they can get start working on their associate's degree. And we partnered with them after getting a generous donation of 92 windows for the building. They came in and I worked with them for 4 weeks to install all of the windows in our building. So there was just 9 kids, all really passionate about learning construction trade. And yeah, we gave them 5 weeks to do it. They did it in 4.5. And yeah, it was an amazing program. Do you want to talk more about kind of the other things that have come about from that, like the enterprise and?
Sure. So, you know, one of the interesting things about this project that may be a little bit different than other renovations or builds is we are, as a nonprofit, we're fundraising and renovating at the same time. So a lot of times the trend would be to go ahead and fundraise once you have raised your capital, then start the renovation. Well, shoot, we're so excited about what's happening that we're like, you know, we could carefully time it to where we can continue to renovate and fundraise at the same time, so in conjunction. So it's been a balancing act. We are very blessed that there's been a lot of excitement behind this project and a lot of support. So I don't think we mentioned the date we acquired the building, but we acquired the building February 2020. So just FYI, we kind of know, we all know what happened the next month. And so we're like, oh, okay, this is interesting. But we are pleased to share that even though the environment has really changed for all of us during COVID, that kind of thing, that we have still been trucking forward and trucking along. And we have now raised over $2.1 million towards our $3 million campaign. And we are still continuing to renovate the building. So we are hoping to open the main floor around springtime next year. We do not have a hard date because, again, the climate just does not allow for us to pick a hard date and stick with it due to supplies and things that have been kind of a challenge right now. So one of the exciting things about this support is we have had a lot of companies and community members step forward and help with in-kind donations. So as Brandon mentioned, we received 92 windows from Spec Building Materials, and they were pretty much for free. If anybody is a homeowner or have dealt with windows, that's a big ask. Windows are not cheap. So we were thrilled when we found out that we were going to be able to replace these windows for a fraction of the cost. And then, as he mentioned, we partnered with Metropolitan Community College, and we ran into a hiccup with that program where we needed to figure out transportation. So we reached out, and Enterprise was so sweet, I'm gonna say the word sweet, and lent us this 15-passenger van for us to be able to shuttle the students from MCC to the building and back. So they allowed that transportation to happen, which was wonderful because if we hadn't had that, we wouldn't have been able to do that program. Along with that, we've had Cornell Roofing step forward and gifted us a $130,000 new roof. As Brandon mentioned, there was a huge hole in the top of it and the rain was just coming in. We had patched it to kind of get us by, but I will tell you, when it rains now, we're all peaceful about it because we have this beautiful new roof. So it's a huge gift that nobody really can see, but gives us definitely a peace of mind. M&M Painting has come forward, and they're doing all of the painting inside the building in kind, and solicited Sherwin-Williams, and Sherwin-Williams is donating all of the paint. And I could keep going. There are so many stories like that where companies and supporters have stepped forward to help this project move along in kind of a challenging time. So as you can see, Brandon just put up a picture of the building. And then the next picture again is a rendering of what we hope for it to kind of look like. So the gist, as we all know, renderings are just renderings. So it's not going to be exact to this. But we do have plans to knock out 2 large holes in the lower level and open that up for outdoor indoor seating. We do have some accordion glass doors on the way that will go in there. So again, giving that accessibility feel was very important to us. We have this big block brick building. How can we make it feel friendly? So we definitely wanted to open that up a little bit more. And then we're going to obviously cosmetically try to clean it up some. So paint it, freshen it, that kind of thing. All right, so now we're into kind of housing. And I'm going to continue to talk if that's okay, Brandon, because this is kind of an area that I've been working on quite a bit. So we have mentioned that we are focusing on housing. Along with that, we are currently working on what we call the Englewood Arts Overlay District. And this is very unique. It is an overlay for zoning for about 4,000 homes. So surrounding the Inglewood thoroughfare, as I call it, the main street. And what this will allow for is the ability to build small homes, as Brandon had mentioned earlier. So right now we're zoned to where we can't build under 900 square feet. And we're looking at it and saying, how can we build this density back up, but keep the character of the neighborhood and keep the community involved in and participating. So one of those ways is to allow smaller homes to come into the infill lots. Also cluster communities. So if there's 2 empty lots, putting maybe 4 small homes on that with a courtyard, that type of thing, along with allowing folks that already own a home or have a home in the area, if their lot is large enough, they can then build what we call an ADU, which is an accessory dwelling unit. And they can utilize that either for a workspace, studio space, or also sell it or rent it to, hopefully an artist or somebody that is interested in maybe a smaller home and affordable housing. Along with the overlay, a document that we're working on, it would also allow artists to live and work in the same space along with sell their items. So you would be allowed to have a small gallery, maybe at the front of your home, where you could portray your art and sell it, or have an ADU, as I mentioned, where you could have that your studio and gallery space, along with culinary artists can have small eateries of maybe, like 12 seats and under. And the purpose for that is, as we bring the energy into the area, we want it to spread throughout the neighborhood and create a walkable community. So, we want to bring obviously the main street back and bring that energy into that area, but how can we also put that out in the neighborhood? So those are some key points of the Englewood Arts Overlay. Again, it is now a work in progress. We hope to take it to the city to be voted upon the beginning of next year at some point. So I'll definitely keep you all apprised to that if you would like.
That's great. Teresa, where is the art center on this map? Can you show
So
us?
the art center is
my cursor. It's right
okay,
there.
Yeah. Yep.
Awesome. You can really see the spread. It's so interesting how you guys are working from the ground up, the infrastructure and the zoning to really create sustainability and growth in the neighborhood. It's really impressive.
Thank you.
Thinking long term is really, really hopeful. It's really cool. Yeah.
And we're very blessed that the community here, an interesting thing about this project is, and I know we say community a lot, but the community is very involved. So it gives a good foundation of what we're doing. We're not a group swooping in and saying, hey, we're here, and accept us. You know, this is from this community, and it's already a movement that they're behind and they're excited about. Not to say one's better than the other, but it just feels really good to know that you have that support of the surrounding community. So, and we've already had some artists move into the area, which we'll actually talk about a little bit later.
Yeah.
Okay, so Brandon, I'm going to have you talk about maybe the future of partnering with Habitat for Humanity, if you don't mind.
Yeah, Habitat is a big partner with us too. They are really excited about the overlay and the idea of being able to help people move to the area via creating tiny homes or helping revitalize homes that are in the area. I mean, you saw on the map on the left-hand side, there was a key showing how good of shape some of the lots are. There's a lot of houses here that have been either abandoned or just not well kept. Habitat wants to help us organize and revitalize specific areas and then keep going year to year. And so one of the things that we're working on currently is a Englewood Arts Festival, and that would be roughly around this time next year, if everything goes according to plan. Let's keep our fingers crossed. But Habitat's really excited. They have this thing called Rock the Block, where they go to homes down a single street or in a actual block overall, and they identify the issues that those houses have, and then talk to the homeowners or the landlords, whoever actually can make decisions on the house, tries to identify the problems and then works to help fix all of the problems that have been identified on that block. And so we're going to be trying to raise money to have our own Rock the Block with an art festival. And yeah, we want to work with them to help bring arts to the area, have this Rock the Block become a much bigger like known thing to the community. Right now, I don't know that a lot of people know about the Rock the Block campaign that Habitat does, but we want to bring that to our area and get people excited about the opportunity to have their homes, help with their homes. One of the other things that we haven't talked about much is like the community members that have already started coming together in this area. Myself included. I don't know if I can move this. Here we go. So even before our art center is functional, we have had, just by word of mouth, 17 new community members move to the area. Most of them, I think actually all of them, are artists that are just excited about the opportunity to be a part of a community that's so in tune with the arts. And like I said, this is before we even had any kind of offering for anyone. I think people see the potential for this, this space to become vital again. And yeah, people are very excited about it.
I have a question for you guys.
Sure.
Just with like my art admin hat on, we're always, trying to reach community and new people and stuff like that. I'm wondering how you guys like got the research from the community, or like how you connected with people that were there, or like these new members that moved in, to really like flesh out like what kind of services that they want at the art center. Like, how did you guys do that?
Lots and lots of meetings. So there was a group, and Brandon mentioned this earlier, called GROW, and it was just Grassroots of Western Independence. And we would meet weekly here in Inglewood, and it was an open invitation for business owners and community members to come together and talk about what is possible. So, and that's really where this stemmed from, was those community meetings. and continuing to have meetings and open invitations for people to come and find out what's happening. And then, of course, having a lot of different conversations with people, you know. So Jessica, like, you reached out and you're like, hey, I've heard about this, what's going on? So having those one-on-one conversations with people to let them know what's happening with the area is very important to us. So making sure that we, if there's an opportunity to communicate what's happening or what's going on, to be able to do that, and then also listen. So hear feedback from that, hear the input from people that we're visiting with, and see, you know, their thoughts, their wisdom. You know, it's definitely a group effort, and we want to continue to do that. So, you know, as we continue to progress and open and like I said, continue with programming, we will continue. I keep saying continue. That's, I've overused that word so much in the last 2 sentences, but we will meet with people and listen to what they're wanting. And we want to keep that adaptable and open. So, you know, as we continue to grow and things like that, we can adjust. So does that kind of answer your question?
Totally, 100%. I mean, I think that's the only way to build like sustainable things, right? Is to be of the community, like you said, not just like move in and push your own agenda, but to be like where community members take ownership in what you're doing and carry it on beyond, you know, space and time.
Right. And we do have two committees in Englewood Arts that helps with that. There is a community committee, and we meet regularly, and that's an open invitation for anybody to come and find out what's going on. And then, you know, there's also an email thread going with that committee. And we have probably over 100 members on that now, and it just continues to grow. And then we also have an artist committee that Brandon helps co-chair with Maria Vasquez Boyd. So those two have taken on the artists committee, and, you know, as artists continue to reach out and want to learn more and participate, they're gathering those artists together.
Cool. Oh, we have a question here in the gallery. Yes.
Hi, I know that Belgian Art Annex now has glass blowing. They have glory holes. Oh,
I don't know if you guys can hear her here.
Yeah.
Okay.
okay. Belgian Art Annex is a glass blowing studio that has just opened in October.
Mhm.
I'm wondering if you will ever have warm glass classes instead of it's where you create bowls and you can make paintings in glass. Are you ever going to have anything like that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, our glass studio we have a 500-pound furnace. If that doesn't mean anything to you, it's just really, really, really big. And we have 2 glory holes. We have 2 large annealer kilns. We have all of the equipment to do any kind of hot and cold glass working think of. And because this is a community project and a community center, our focus is on teaching and educating the public on fine arts. And so our focus will be teaching the community about glass blowing. It will actually be one of the first things that is accessible once the building is functional.
That's awesome. And while I'm just thinking about it, you guys, if one of you can like drop the contact information for those like art committees and the community committees that you have, just in case anyone on the call today wants to volunteer for one of those committees or something, it might be.
Absolutely.
Sure thing. Great suggestion. Brandon, do you mind doing that since I'm on my phone?
Yep, I can do that.
Okay.
Yeah, we wanted to show a little bit more about the community that's come in. This is Annie. She works with us at the Art Center, and she is a Kansas City Art Institute graduate. She was living downtown in a small apartment, and when she heard about this project, she was so excited to come move to the area. This was before she even decided she wanted to work with us. And now, because of how affordable it is in this area, she's able to rent a space with a huge yard. She's really, really excited about the fact that she can have ducks Yeah, she's just really excited to be able to go from, you know, kind of a tiny little struggling artist space to actually having a home. Even though she's still renting, it's still much more of a home than it was before. And now she works with us full time because she also sees the vision of this project and wants to be in from the ground up. Like Teresa mentioned before, there are so many people that have been able to donate their time, their money, their efforts into helping this project. It's not even possible to list all of them. There's a couple of major names listed here, but yeah, the community really wants to be a part of this. And like Teresa said, again, from the grassroots organization to huge, like people like the Sunderland Foundation that have donated, you know, countless amounts of money to our project. We are really blessed to be able to present this vision, this kind of like crazy idea at first, really, to people, and they see the value in what we're able to accomplish. Again, more. This is a fraction of the people that have had a hand in our programming. And this is a picture of the sign. You saw the rendering that Teresa painted. This is the sign that's actually in the building currently. We're working on a superstructure so we can put it onto the roof. It's got to be rated to be able to withstand up to 90 mile an hour winds. I think that's what it was. And so we're working on the structure to put this up on the roof.
And a neat thing about this sign is, you know, it says Inglewood where art lives. So it's not specifically for the art center. It's again about the area and the community. And we just wanted to do a fun call out for this area and celebrate it. So it's exciting to see that sign come together. And again, it's a neat community project where Bernstein Rain, they've been doing our marketing in kind. They came up with the concept, and we were like, well, this is great, but we don't want to we can't currently spend our funding on a sign. We're, you know, in the middle of renovating a building. So the community actually came together and built this for us. So a retired sign maker who is now a painter and artist found out what we were doing and came forward and said, you know, I would love to build those letters, the white letters for you. Once those were built and people saw us moving along with that, Curtis Shaddocks, he's a wonderful sign maker. He came forward with Steinmetz Neon in the Crossroads area. And they said, you know, we want to go ahead and finish this off with the neon. So they helped us with the neon. And now we have another community member who is a master welder. And then he's going to help build that superstructure, weld it together. And we have an artist that lives in the area, Amy Jacobson, who works with quite a bit of large sculptures, and she's helping with the engineering of it. So it's neat. It's a neat story and symbol that, yeah, we have this cool sign that calls out the area, but it also is a great symbol of community coming together to make something happen. So.
Yeah, I think there was more slides on here about programming, but I guess I was looking at the wrong one. But I think it's worth noting, like you asked about the Glassblowing Studio. Yeah, community classes in every facet of any medium that we have available is really what we want out of our organization. And so even with culinary arts and performing arts, we want to be able to teach classes to adults and kids, you know, anyone from beginners to advanced. And that's something else that we need input from the community. We're still gathering information about what kind of things people want to see. How do you anticipate learning things like glass blowing or culinary arts, or, ceramics or neon bending. Anything that will be available in our building will be available to the public too.
And Brandon, you might also mention that there will be like multi-level programs for artists. So like art residency opportunities, things like that.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. The programming that will exist in the building will have multiple levels. Anyone from people that just want to take a date night class to experience glass blowing one time, to any people that want to really get in depth about glass blowing as a medium and something that they feel like they may want to explore further in the future. We'll have long-term classes for that. We will have residency programs in almost all of our areas of art, including culinary and performing arts. And so anybody that already has a vast knowledge of any of those programs and mediums will be able to apply for a residency, which is anywhere from 6 months to a year. And those will be people that will have the opportunity to use the space and teach classes while getting access to 24-hour studio access and material stipends, things like that. So it's really going to be anyone from very high level advanced artists to community members that just want to try something out and experience what it's like to make art.
We have a question here.
Yeah.
If a person is interested in teaching, who would they contact?
That's me.
Thank you.
Yeah, I will, when I'm done, when I stop sharing the screen, I will bring up my contact information. Yeah, we are still looking for more people to be on our artist committee too. The more input I think we can get from artists or just people that are interested in art, it helps us grow in a way that is in line with the community. So yeah, if anybody has the ability to teach classes in any capacity, I'm very interested in talking with them, because there's more ways of teaching classes than what I know personally. I'm a ceramic artist by trade, and I have a very specific way of doing things, and I'm sure there are other people that have different ways of doing it. So definitely input.
Just to give you guys a heads up, we're like 5 minutes out from 11. So I do want to open it up if anyone has some questions they've been sitting on that we want to throw out there in the last couple minutes. Please unmute yourself and ask, or put something in the chat box. To kick it off, I just have a question. You guys have kind of talked about this a little bit, that there's going to be different structures, and like people can either do a date night or they can kind of get more involved. Will that kind of align with different like pricing structures? Like, oh, you can pay to just come to one class, or you can be like a member, or you're a resident. Like, it sounds like there'll be a variety of access points financially as well, which I think is important to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. Pricing structure is still something we're working on. As we're trying to develop our space, we need to figure out exactly how many people we can house in the building, which will be hundreds in the end. We're looking at more of an open studio structure, not so much private spaces or semi-private spaces, so we can allow for more people to be able to have access to the building at any specific time. 30,000 square feet is huge, but it's very, very easy to fill up. So if we start putting private studio spaces in, our opportunities are much more limited than, renting shelving space, just renting studio time, programming for smaller date night classes, and programming for larger, half a month or month-long classes.
An interesting part also with our campaign is we went ahead and put with our campaign that we're in for fundraising right now, an amount to help start with the programming. And then we do have a plan after 3 years, so our 4th year, to be self-sustaining, hopefully. So we are not relying so much on funding and things like that to continue to truck along at the Art Center. So.
Guys, Brandon just put his contact, his email in the chat box. So if you are a teaching artist and want to get involved in a variety of capacities, follow up with him for sure. We did record today's session too, so it'll be on our YouTube channel, and we'll share it with Brandon and Teresa so they can kind of share that as well. But we're excited. I know personally, and via KCAC, we're really excited to watch the progress and see what happens, and definitely see us as an ally and share everything you guys have going on so we can share it out through our channels. Just really excited about what you guys are doing. You're doing the good work.
Yeah, and at one point we would love to maybe have an open house or something like that for KCAC to come out and check out the area and that kind of thing. So we'll definitely stay connected and figure out when that might be able to happen.
Definitely count us in. I just want to be respectful of everyone's time. I know you guys have a tour here coming up in a couple minutes. So we're going to let them go. And I just want to say thank you so much. And yeah, keep going. This is really exciting for Kansas City.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Have a great Saturday, everyone.
Yeah, thanks. Bye.